I am super excited to share this first project with you. I very nearly had a finished object. Oh, I so badly wanted a finished object, but not quite. Hello, my name is Michelle and this is Michelle's Fiber Studio podcast. Today is Monday, May 18th. Yes, it's the 18th. And this is episode number 93. Well, a very warm and sunny hello from the state of Maine. It is beautiful outside, about 70 degrees. We had an absolutely phenomenal weekend. It was our first true spring weekend of the season. It felt so good. Tomorrow is actually supposed to get in the 90s. It's going to be super, super hot. But today is beautiful and perfect. I am very excited to share updates with you on my projects for this week. I have some very exciting updates. But I think before that, let me talk about, I am wearing my Skyline Tee. It's got this great detail in the shoulder. I knit this, you may recall, last spring, I guess it would be. I started it on May 31st and I completed it on June 25th. So it took me just under a month to complete this. The yarn is from Yarn Over New York. It's her Times Square sock in the color Manhattan Henge. And I absolutely love it. If I stand up, I can't quite back up. There we go. I wish I had made it just a little bit longer because it's not super short, but if I reach up, that's when my midriff shows just a little bit. So I wish it was a little bit longer. I can block it and I can stretch some length out of it, but I find that as I wear it, it stretches widthwise instead of lengthwise. So that's my only complaint. It's a minor complaint. It is so comfortable. It fits me so well. It's making me excited to knit another t-shirt. But for now, oh, and I should say, I've closed the window right here next to me, but I do have some of the other windows open, allowing the house to air out and such. So if there's a little bit of road noise, I apologize. It's 3 o'clock, or not quite 3 o'clock. So there's a lot of traffic, but with that, let's head right over to my project bag. I am super excited to share this first project with you. I very nearly had a finished object. Oh, I so badly wanted a finished object, but not quite. I am talking about my Imagination Quilt, which is by Meema Makes. I am using my Emma's Yarns Advent. And last week, I had completed the last of the squares. I had to fix a square, and then they needed to be blocked and seamed, and I did all of it. They are all totally blocked and seamed. I'm not gonna do it justice. This is the square here that I needed to fix. It did not take me all that long on Monday to get it fixed. And then I blocked them. I got all the rest of the ends weaved in. Blocked them on Tuesday, I think. Tuesday night I blocked them. On Thursday, I was actually able to sew all three of the first, I plated the layout on Wednesday, looked at it again on Thursday after school, and then that's pretty much all I worked on once I got home from my workout on Thursday and into the evening is the first 3 seams. So I got all 3 of the initial seams done. And then I did another seam on Friday and the last 2 on Saturday. I probably would have had the border done yesterday too. I was like, oh my gosh, I could almost totally do it. But my son came over and we played a game. So I opted to lean into that and it didn't get done. But I have started the border, so I have the first, you can see where I am right here. This is a double crochet round. I think it's the last side. The last of the initial side. Nope, I have two sides still to go. So I'm halfway around the first round. There's a total of 4 rounds in the border. You do 2 double crochet rounds, a single crochet round, and then the final round is actually supposed to be done with some of the colors from the Advent, but I think I'm gonna keep it in the bear. I don't really wanna add the colors back in, and that's a round of half double crochets. So that should not take me that long once I get going on it. So I will definitely complete this in the next night or two. And it's gonna be done. I am so excited. It was one of those things where the closer I got, the faster I went. And I do think that the seaming was taking less time as I got used to it and acquainted with it. One thing that I want to point out, if anybody is making this, I found this a little bit with the individual squares, but definitely with the bigger squares. So you can see like right here where the squares meet. And you seam it all the way across, and then you come back down and you seam the other direction. And see if I can explain this in a way that makes sense. When I was seaming the second, here, let me hold it on one end so I can hold it a little bit better. So when I was seaming and I was coming across the second, this seam was already done, but because of the weight of the blanket, it was stretching a little bit. And so I was having lengths, sometimes like this long, of that seaming yarn. And as I was going through in the first seam, I was pulling it nice and tight to make sure that there wasn't extra yarn, but then of course you can over pull it, right? And I had to constantly kind of be, as I was doing the seam, I was trying to pull the yarn through and make sure that there was enough yarn without pulling it too tight or having excess, right? It's that balance. So I was feeling really good about those seams as I was doing it, but then when I was coming back through and going across the other direction, the first seam is now vertical and I was having those lengths. So what I found worked really well, and I wish I had kind of picked up on this as I was seaming the individual squares, is I would kind of like slide things down and slide things up and smooth it back out, and it would close itself right back up as I was approaching. And then M from Meema Makes shows you how to go around in the corner to make the corner nice and tight, and I would secure it, and it was great. And then I would keep going, and I would get to the next juncture of 4 squares, and I would do the same thing. I would smooth it, and it would snug up, and I would be able to continue. So I don't think it's as big of a deal on the smaller squares. I definitely was running into it, but it was only 1/4 of an inch of yarn maybe at the most, and I just snugged it up and didn't worry about it. But I was having sometimes even a couple of inches that was getting pulled out, and it's simply because of the weight of the blanket. And as I was moving it, things were getting stretched because I couldn't pick up the whole weight of it necessarily as I'm trying to figure out and find my starting point, and all of those things. So at any rate, that worked out really well. I just wanted to pass that tip along. But I cannot wait. I'm so excited to have this big project done. I am like 3 months ahead of schedule, right? When I was initially kind of planning out like 1 square a week and then the seaming, and I was looking at the end of August, end of the summer, before this project would be done. And then at some point I just hit that tipping point and totally ran with it. So this will definitely be a finished object to show you next week. All right, let's move on to the next project. Oh, one last thing. This is how much of the bare yarn I had left after seaming the big squares all the way to the border. So that would be, I had bought 4 skeins. This is the last of the third skein. It's maybe 5 or 6 grams. And so that would be the crocheting of all of the little squares, the seaming of the squares, the sashing around each group of square, right? And then the final seams. And I opted, rather than starting my border, because I wasn't even sure I'd have enough to go around the blanket once, I opted to just dive right in to skein number 4. I will definitely weigh it and track so I know exactly how much I've used, and I'm just gonna drop this into my bin of leftovers. It's hardly anything, and that's how I'm gonna handle and deal with that. All right. The next project, so that Imagination quilt definitely took the lion's share of any yarniness that I did. But I do have a little bit of work to show on my Waffleicious blanket. This is the baby blanket for my nephew and his wife. I got a few more rows done. I think I have one more pair of rows in the white here. But this definitely has to move up in the queue. I'm just under 2 weeks away from the baby shower. It's like the first Sunday in June. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the Imagination quilt because I want it done. But this has got to take priority now. I am at critical mass with this one where I need to focus. So I think once I really start focusing and getting the burners on this one, it is gonna come together just fine, but it's time. I don't have time to delay and dilly on this one. This is a pattern, I should say, by MJ's Off the Hook Designs. I'm using yarn. The yarn is Baby Bee Sweet Delights from Hobby Lobby in Naked, Boo Pink, Ballet Slipper, and Plum Pudding. So I didn't quite get that last row done. That's okay. It will definitely get done now. The last project that I have to show is my Tutti Frutti socks. And this is just the work that I got done during Bible study. I got that much done. So I should measure them. Do I have a tape measure? Because I think I'm going to do about 4 inches in the leg before I do my, and I'm at not quite 3. So I got maybe an inch or so left to do, and then I can turn the cuff. This is yarn by Schackenmeyer Regia. It is a cotton yarn in the Tutti Frutti colorway. And this, again, is a project I cast on back in 2020. So these have been languishing for a very, very long time. But this is one of the last lingering whips outside of that like scruffle scarf. So these are my Bible study project. They will get worked on and picked away at. No specific urgency on them because they will get done. So those are the projects that I am currently actively working on. My plans moving forward is I'm of course going to finish the Imagination quilt this week. I am going to be full steam ahead on the Waffleicious blanket, but kind of like long term, I'm going to leave my Soubrette on hold, and I want to cast on a tee. I had swatched for that one last week, as you may recall. So that's going to be up next in the queue. But I really think that I want to have and become more monogamous. I just work better that way. If I can just kind of keep pushing and focusing on one project, with a smaller project that will be good Bible study knitting socks, my hat. I still have the Musselburgh hat that I've got to finish. So I do have some lingering whips that will get picked away at. But as I clear those off of the needles, I want to be very mindful at what I'm casting on and how much. And we're going to try that. We will see if I will be able to actually stick to it. But I feel like I will be more satisfied because I will keep that. I usually have a good couple of weeks in me of solid enthusiasm in a project before maybe it starts to wane. So if I am not feeling divided, then maybe I can kind of really get through the lion's share of the project and get to that point where now it's so close to the finish that I get that final burst of enthusiasm. In addition, I do have the cross stitch project that I need to be working on, and spinning I have hardly been touching, and that's because I have all this other stuff that I want to get done, and it's lingering and it's kind of sitting out here, and I don't want to say weighing on me, but like I want to get it done. So I'm hoping that if I can have one main project with a smaller project, that will allow me to do some of the other creative pursuits that I like, a little more guilt-free, if you will, or to feel free to do them if I don't want to be working actively on whatever the main project is. That's kind of where my brain is at as far as, you know, long-term goals. So that wraps up what I have going in my project bag. I did get my May Woolen Woman Fiber Box that came in this past week, so I am going to open that up and share it with you. It is Down for Petals, I think is the name of it, if I'm understanding that correctly. Oh, or Petals and Downpour. There we go. So again, we have a candle. This one is Rose, Lily of the Valley, and Fresh Rain. Lily of the Valley is my absolute favorite flower. Love, love, love them. Makes me think of my grandmother for reasons that I'm not going to get into. But we got a wool bar, lanolin wool wash. I have so many of these wool wash bars and they last so long. This one, does it say what color? What violet, lily, and marine is kind of the scents that this is. Also smells lovely. I got a wraps per inch keychain. I got, these are the charms for this week. Aren't they cute? Little raindrop. It's so cute. And the bag, it cinches up like that. So this is a great, great project bag. Love their project bags. And then the yarn is so pretty. But I love blues. Anyway, so look at these yummy, yummy colors. The little blue mini skein, but look, it's got some greens. And there's yellow there. There's even little red speckles. Like, oh, so good. So good, so good. I don't know what it will become, but I am very excited for this and what I will be able to do with it. So that is what I have in on my yarn shelf new this week. Finally, in this week's day-to-day, it was a fairly busy work week and then a fairly laid-back home life week, which is the best kind because it allows me to recover from the busyness of work. Of course, it's the very end of the school year. We are sub 20, ladies and gentlemen, sub 20 as of today, as of right this second, actually. And there are 19 days, student days left. So, but you know who's counting, right? It was busy though. Tuesday and Wednesday, I took trips over to the high school with students that I have been working closely with all school year, trying their 8th graders, getting ready to transition. And I had arranged for them to have tours of the, like private tours of the building to kind of start to get them acclimated on their own. And so both of those tours went really super well. Both of the kids are very excited. Hopefully that means that they will have good transitions in. On Thursday, I was back at the high school and I was meeting with the guidance staff there so I could kind of hand off the 8th grade as a whole. I have a spreadsheet where I keep kind of some notes and I talked through things with them. I was there for like 2.5 hours. It took actually quite some time to go through all of that information, but they really appreciate that I do that. I'm really, really passionate about transitioning both the 6th grade up into the middle school and then the 8th grade up to the high school and having this smooth handoff. So I work really, really hard at that this time of the year. Friday I had another visit to one of the elementary schools, so that was really great and got to share our presentation with those kids. And then Friday night we had our retirement dinner celebration. We have 4 staff members who are retiring. 3 of whom, I think it was like a combined 150 years in education amongst all 4 of those staff members. Like, they have all been in education a very, very, very long time. And I have known them all. Of course, I have been in Auburn. This is my 12th year. And I started at Auburn Middle School, so I have known them all for at least 12 years. A couple of them taught my kids even before I started working there. So I'm really, really sad to see some of them go, but I'm so excited for them. And it was just a lovely, lovely evening. That was actually a little bit early of a dinner. So I was able to, after the dinner, pick up my husband and we went back to the middle school and sat through, we had our spring play production. They did Shakespeare As You Like It, and they did a fantastic job. So much fun to see the talent, to see how much energy and enthusiasm they put into it. And Shakespeare is hard, but they really did do a good job. It always takes me several scenes to kind of get into the flow of hearing the Shakespearean language and kind of following the story, and I got to remind myself to not be frustrated initially, because it can be hard to kind of pick up on that, but I got there. I guess I can't speak for my husband, but after 3 or 4 scenes, I was able to kind of fall into it and kind of get a little bit better of a sense of what was going on. So let's see, Saturday morning we had a memorial service for a church member, and yesterday after church my son came over and we played a game. So it was a lovely laid-back weekend, and that's kind of where we're at. I'm definitely tired, ready again. 19 days. It's just like the closer we get, the harder it feels. And the less patience we all have. So you can pray for us. All right, I think that about wraps up what I have for you this week. If you enjoyed the episode, please do hit the like button and subscribe. I will have links down below in the show notes for all of the things that I have talked about. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knittin Michelle, KNITTINMICHELLE. You could also send me an email at michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com. With that, I hope you have a fantastic week and happy knitting.